out and find these children? Where did they come from?
Most of them lived behind me. I lived in a house that backed onto a Burmese village.
What do you mean by Burmese village?
They live in sort of these neighborhood shacks, villages that they create themselves. They build them and they pay like rent to the Thailand owners. And I don't know, we had maybe 20 or 30 kids living behind us, and they would usually come to my house and play on my balcony or with my kids in the lounge room. And so that's where we originally sort of like started getting interest from the parents in the schooling. And then the other kids all just came as expat kids that were already on the island, and the parents needed education for their kids. So we purchased the curriculum and wanted to see how it went, and it went really well.
So when did you bring Kylie on board?
Kylie came in about 2 years ago.
Just over 2 years.
Yeah. And she came in as, we had so many in between ages. So she came in as like a kindergarten / primary school teacher. And we just couldn't get rid of her, so she's still here.
So Kylie, what is your like education background? Where'd you come from?
Okay. So I grew up in California. I went to college in New Orleans. And then I went to grad school in Tennessee at Union University, and I got my master's in education there. And then I taught in the States for 4 years. And then, because I hadn't been traveling, I decided to go traveling and I wanted to teach abroad. So I taught in Seoul, South Korea for a year at a kindergarten there. And then traveled to Asia for like 3 or 4 months. And then was tired of traveling. So this guy I met in Krabi in Thailand, he was like, oh yeah, there's this website called the Jarn or whatever, and you can find teaching jobs in Thailand there. So I checked it out, and I'd just come from Koh Tao to do scuba diving. And so I was like, oh, like why not? I'm going over to Laos, but so I sent it in online, and then like
I was very impressed.
a few weeks later, I got an email from Claire, and then we talked on the phone, and
yeah.
I was like, okay, 6 months? I can do 6 months.
Yeah.
That was the agreement at first.
6 months.
And now I'm here for
You're working on 3 years?
Almost 2 years, yeah.
Almost
over 2
over
years.
2 years, yeah.
So.
And the school has grown quite a bit
Oh,
since
so
you've
much.
been here.
Yeah. And it's interesting because like when you're in it, everything seems like it's Thailand, it's an island, it's slow, and there's like a lot of different things that have to get done. But when you step back and you look at like where it came, where it's come, like it was in a small building, there were babies running in and out of classrooms. I had just in a kitchen, I was teaching the kids. Like everyone was sleeping in one huge room for nap time, and then you have to teach in year ones, and like it was just one building. And then we got the smaller building, and then we got the volunteer house, and then now we have like 3 buildings.
Yeah.
Well, 4 counting the volunteer house.
Yeah.
This is pretty. And when you look back, you're like, wow, it's really grown so much. But when you're in it, you don't always realize how much it's changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everything's just been makeshift. It's evolved really organically, through need. And you can't keep knocking back families, so you have to keep making room.
You don't want to turn them away.
Yeah.
But then you outgrow your current situation.
Yeah.
So where did Ellie come from?
Well, I guess it must have been from the same website, maybe.
I think so, yeah. Well, I was looking at teaching abroad, and I just typed in teaching in Thailand, and I'd been here on holiday and just really enjoyed it, and it came up that there was a international school, so I sent an email, and the job, it said it'd been advertised for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So I sent an email to Claire, just being like, it's probably not available anymore, and I sent a CV, and she said, no, send a CV, and like, we'll have a look at it. So I sent a CV in, and then she said, can we ring you? And I was like, sure, yeah. So it was when I was getting ready for work at my previous job one morning because of the time difference, and you rang me to talk to me over the phone, but there was a storm as well at your end.
Yeah.
And it was a very surreal job interview, because you were just asking me about teaching, and all I could hear was lightning, and then the power went off, and you had to ring me back, and I was like, oh, okay.
All I could hear was frogs, like,
yeah, it was, because I was getting ready for work at the same time. So I was trying to get ready for my day at work, and then talk to you about why I wanted to come and things as well. Yeah, and then within 4 months,
Yeah.
I was here.
But I have incredible intuition, teachers.
I'd say.
Yeah.
And I've been here for just over 18 months.
So what keeps you here?